Hello, everybody. Adrienne Ross here again. I didn't expect to do another video today after the one I put out this morning, but I'm recording this about three and a half, maybe hours after the Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky, defeating them on their home court in Indiana, 71-70. And I like to think that this would be a great time. Their first home win, their second win of the season. I'd like to think this was a time when everybody got to talk about the game, the whole game, and nothing but the game. But instead, I am about to talk about stuff that went down in the game that should not have gone down in the game. And it's causing really a whole lot of conversation. This WNBA, this recharged WNBA that people are tuning into who never tuned in before. The WNBA that people who hadn't tuned in, at least regularly in my case, for years now, after being an avid WNBA fan and kind of going away from the game and just catching a little bit here and there. This year, some of us old timers are back. And what is this league doing with this golden moment? Stupidity. That's what. And so this is what we have to talk about. So I'm here to talk about it. I'm going to start sort of backwards. Okay. I'm going to start actually with the post-game interview from the Chicago Sky. You have during that interview, Coach Teresa Weatherspoon, you have Camila Cardoso, and you have the woman of the hour, Kennedy Carter. So let's start with her because she was asked a question about Caitlin Clark. She was asked two questions about Caitlin Clark. How does she handle that? Well, let's take a look.
And then Kennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play, what was said, and kind of what led to?
Next question.
County on the play before bumping in with Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After the
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good. She's good.
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions. That was the second thing she said. The first thing she said was just simply, next question. Now, these are professional women, supposedly. And it has been obvious to everybody and a mama, excuse my bad English, that the disdain for Caitlin Clark is real. No matter how many times they try to hide it, no matter how many times they deny it, it's obviously there. And everybody sees it unless they have a case of Caitlin Clark Derangement Syndrome. Then they'll pretend they don't see it. They might be blind because that's one of the symptoms of derangement syndromes. It comes with some blindness. And then some just don't care because they're loving it. But here's this young woman who's a professional. She's at a post-game interview. She's asked a question about something that happened during the course of her doing her job. And her answer is, next question. And I ain't answering no questions about Caitlin Clark. And I separated the two. Those are two clips. There was a little bit of time in between. Somebody dared to ask the question first. She said, next question. Somebody asked another question. At some point, somebody came back to it, and you heard what she said. I'm not answering no Caitlin Clark questions, period. And these women wonder why they're not marketable. They say that certain players, including Caitlin Clark, are getting attention they should get. Some are saying that Caitlin Clark is getting attention and getting deals and getting sponsorships and getting highlighted because she's white. And then you come to the table after the game and you act like that. Well, I'm not quite sure I'd want you to be the face of anything that I'm trying to promote. And yeah, I said it. Now, I know some people are going to come at me for saying it, but I meant it. So I said it. Okay. So your obvious issue with Caitlin Clark is obvious. First of all, you acted like you had no I mean, this is a game that is physical, but yes, it has rules. And I'm going to show this. Like I said, I'm working backwards. I wanted to start with this. But now I'm going to show you what she did that merited reporters asking the question. They would be remiss if they didn't ask her the question about what in the world went down with you and Caitlin Clark. So we might as well take a look at it.
They've redoubled off the Carter. Her jumper is good. Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And big time contact afterwards. So the knockaway there from Clark and then the lay from Boston as the officials are going to take a look at what just transpired between Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Well, they did not call it unnecessary. They did not call it a flagrant foul. They called it a regular, common, off the ball foul. Okay. I don't know why ESPN has chosen to pretend that it was considered a flagrant foul. It wasn't. Let me just show you. And they got called out on it. Let me show you how they ESPN, mind you, not some amateur outlet. ESPN. Let's show you how they titled this. So you see here, Kennedy Carter gets flagrant one call for shove on Caitlin Clark. WNBA ESPN. What? And then there's a comment here from someone. I'm going to read some more comments later, but someone said false advertising, ESPN, tell the truth. That was called an away from the ball foul, not a flagrant. It should have been a flagrant, but there you see it right here. And I've checked. I mean, maybe by the time this goes live, goes public, maybe they will have changed it, but I checked a couple times. It still says Kennedy Carter gets flagrant one call for shoving Caitlin Clark. Well, everybody and their mama knows that it should have been a flagrant, but it wasn't. Just a common foul. And no wonder she doesn't want to answer the question. Did you see what I saw? She just comes up to her. I'm hearing talk all around the internet that there are people who read her mouth or were at the game. I don't know, but people have said that it looks like she called her a bitch first and then shoved her, barreled into her. And for what? And yet they continue to insult our intelligence and tell us that nobody doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. These girls are as jealous as the day is long. It's absolutely embarrassing. Then they get mad at people like Charles Barkley, who calls them petty, like people who call out their jealousy. It baffles my mind. And so again, I'm excited that they got the win, but instead of focusing on that and what they did well in the game, what are we talking about? We're talking about a league where masses of people were not interested in. Now they're tuning in. So you get an opportunity to show your game, to show your sportsmanship, to show your professionalism. And this is what you show your country or even the world. This is what you put out. It's embarrassing. And it's making some people, believe it or not want to have anything to do with this. And I'm going to say something that I hate that I have to say, but I'm going to say it. I started watching the pettiness during this season so far, and I was like, you know what? I hate to say it, but maybe Caitlin Clark should have gone overseas to play. Maybe she should have. And I don't like to say that because these women, many of them grew up desiring to play in this country. And then those players who were in the league at the beginning of the league, many of them came back from overseas for an opportunity to be able to play in their country. And then So I don't like to say that, but I almost feel like, you know what, Caitlin, go ahead and get your stuff and go. And again, I know this country, this is where you ought to be playing. This is where people paved the way so that we can see these women playing. But somebody wrote, they don't deserve her. Somebody said that. And someone else said, I'm going to share some comments. He said, you know what? They're going to mess around. They're going to be back flying Spirit Airlines. But why would you? It blows my mind, and it makes me, it hurts my stomach. Now, I'm going to say this. There are people who are watching, and there are people who are going to say, this is a physical game. If you can't handle it, then you can't handle it. If you can't handle it, then she don't need to be. Listen, yeah, it is a physical game. I played the game. I coached the game. I'm not into whining about every play. But what you saw right there, if you are telling me that's what basketball is supposed to be, then you just got the derangement syndrome, which causes all kinds of problems. Okay? Because you can't distinguish between right and wrong. That should never happen. But what went down is this. See, the Victoria Vivian's situation, when officials don't do their jobs, what ends up happening in a situation where Caitlin is concerned, for example, because they can't stand her. Many of them can't stand her. I'm tired of pretending that they love her. Stop it. We ain't stupid. They can't stand her. And when you let situations like I showed in the video I put out this morning, where Victoria Vivian's capped her in the neck or in the throat or whatever, that is the open door for other people to say, I can do the same, because I've been itching to push her, shove her, all this stuff, and just blatant. You're just blatant with it. That should have been a flagrant foul. This girl just barrels into her on purpose, called her out her name reportedly, and then she gets to come afterwards to the post-game interview and say, I ain't talking about Caitlin Clark. Next question. And her coach steps in. No, hold these people accountable. This is ridiculous. So no, I'm not about being weak. No, I'm not about coddling. But yes, I happen to love the game of basketball. I don't know what that was, but I know it's turning people off. And then there are people who want to say, well, Angel Reese, when AT nearly knocked her out, she didn't complain. And you know what? That's a weakness of Angel Reese. I know she was trying to look hard and tough and all that. And if she was just getting banged around and stuff like that, I could see you just saying, you know what, I'm just going, you know what? Hey, I'm just here to play. But what AT did, and let me point this out, she was thrown out the game, as she should have been. For Angel Reese to sit up there with her coach and just say, I ain't supposed to be like, I'm not supposed to be treated no different from any other rookie, but no rookie, no person should have been treated that way. What you should have said is, yeah, it was inappropriate. Yes, like Caitlin said, what did she say? I forgot her exact words, but she basically was like, that's not basketball. Okay. That's what Angel Reese should have said. What she did say, trying to pretend that she was all that, and we can read pretense all over Angel Reese. If you can't, I can. Okay. She just exudes fake to me. And by that, I just mean she just seems like she's putting on, and so she wants to seem tough. And so she comes out there after this girl did her that way and say, like it was nothing. No, it was something. And saying anything otherwise is dangerous to you and to other people, and it just diminishes the game. Be tough, be strong, don't be a whiner for every single thing. But there are some things you got to stand up for. When you don't, you open the door for more nonsense. But then Angel Reese, she knows a little something about nonsense. So let's go to that play in which, after she hooks and pushes, whatever you want to call it, Caitlin hits the floor. So here's that one.
Security knocks it down. Lot of contact from Reese on Clark underneath, no whistle. Not a flagrant foul, penalty 1, which it probably should have been upon review, at least by our account. This, you could have gotten Reese for a personal, but you can also see that being a no call. Good no call? 50-50? 50-50. Now, the Kennedy Carter bucket that initially.
Now, not only did she throw her down, then there was the stare down. And I'm going to acknowledge that there are people out there, even people who support Caitlin Clark, who believe that that was a flop. I'm not one of those people. And let me just say this for those who don't know me. I'll call a spade a spade. If I thought it was a flop, I would have been like, okay, that was a flop. You know, it was a flop. That's part of what people do in basketball sometimes. I'm not one of those who just say, oh no, that's I'm on her side, so that wasn't a flop. I watched it at least a dozen times and from the different angles. I don't believe she flopped. I believe Angel Reese threw it to the ground. And I believe that's why Caitlin Clark jumped up as she did and said, you know, to the officials, said something to the officials, and Angel Reese stared her down. Angel Reese was the one who also apparently was applauding and clapping wildly after Kennedy Carter did what she did. So, and I think that the commentator, you know, he was talking about the previous play at the beginning of that clip with Carter, I should say, the situation with Carter, and he was like, yeah, that should have been a flagrant, but this one with Angel Reese, yeah, well, I mean, a no call. I want you to notice the silence when he says that to Rebecca Lobo. So let me go back a little bit here so we can hear what he says, and then how Rebecca Lobo handles his suggestion.
You can also see that being a no call.
Okay, so he says you can also see that being a no call. I don't know how that's a no call, okay? But that's what he says. You can see that being a no call. Notice the silence from Rebecca Lobo after he says that.
You can also see that being a no call.
Nothing. You know what? She had nothing to say. So then he has to come back and try to say something else. So he asks,
good no call?
good no call, he says. Because he said it could be a good no call. She didn't say nothing. So he comes back and says, can you help me out here? Good no call? And then he goes, or
50-50.
let me do that again.
Good no call? 50-50? 50-50.
Okay. Good no call? Now she didn't say anything. Good no call? Silence. And he goes, good no call? Or, 50-50, because, I got to get you to agree with me here. We're on live. And she's like 50-50. What Rebecca Lobo was saying was, no, it's a foul. I don't know why have you noticed? I don't know why these commentators, I don't know why the media appear to be so scared of the WNBA players. Is it just me noticing? They go out of their way to prop up Angel Reese. And then they're just like, yeah, that's good, don't call there. And, they just seem like they are, I don't know, like they're scared of these people. They don't treat the men that way, but these women, but then again, you see how these women are, right? You see how they're treating Caitlin Clark. So maybe there's a reason why they don't want to say anything. They act like they're scared. When Kennedy sat at that table and talking about next question, she don't want to, you know what? That's what your job is as the media, as a reporter. You're supposed to get this. You don't let them off easy. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not saying anything? I mean, I don't know. It's just wild right now. And it's seriously unfortunate because there are people who they don't want nothing to do with this. They're like, you know what? I tuned in. I was excited. I was excited about this rookie class, or I've always been excited about this game, or it was Caitlin Clark, or whatever it is. They're here now. And then you get this. You get the Victoria Vivians thing. And by the way, some people have said to me, well, that wasn't really a punch. You used the wrong word. You should have used the word jab. you know, what, and I said punch with the fist. Some people said it looked like an elbow, whatever. My background is in teaching English. I taught 7th grade English for 20 years. I'm an editor, I'm an author, I'm a writer. I'm very careful with words. They're synonymous. A jab is just a quicker punch. Okay, so, but if you want to call it a jab, call it a jab. The bottom line is that Victoria Vivian's was wrong in what she did. And the dirty play is turning people off, and it's dangerous. Somebody just might get hurt. And it makes me want to go, you know what, Caitlin, take your toys and go home. Go play overseas somewhere where people appreciate you. And I hate saying that because, listen, there's a chapter in my book called my book is called Push Your Way to Purpose, one of my books, and I have a chapter on it called Finish What You Start. So, you know, I want her to finish what she started, but there's that part of me that wants to go, you know what, they want to play dirty. They got race issues. They got, you know, if you leave it to Sunny Hostin, they've got tall, issues because she's tall, issues because she's straight, issues because she's white, issues because she's pretty. She said all that. Whatever their issue is, I'm like, you know what? I feel like leaving y'all with y'all issues. I can leave, and with me, let's be real, with me will go a whole lot of eyeballs. That's supposed to be on your game, but somebody's going to have to rein this thing in because it's ridiculous. And the fans know. I'm going to share some of the comments with you from that fake ESPN story, talking about fake news, saying that she got the flagrant, which I assume they're saying because that's what they want people to think, because when you look at it, you know she should have gotten it, but she didn't. So let's look at some of the, I'm going to read, I got quite a few comments here that I want to share. So I'd already shared this one. False advertising, ESPN, tell the truth. That was called an away from the ball foul, not a flagrant. Said that already. Some other people, she had no reason to push her. Here's someone else. I'm surprised the ref called any foul in Caitlin's favor. The WNBA better step up and do something about these refs. It is getting ridiculous and everyone is noticing. Here's another. That was the petty stuff that Barkley was talking about. That was a total BS hit for no reason but to try and hurt the new rookie CeCe. Even though the WNBA women seem to see CeCe as a villain, the fans just love her. Someone else, WNBA salty for Clark. Here's another one. This one says, dirty shot by her, but the one with Reese in the fourth quarter was just as bad. They're talking about Kennedy, of course, not call. When will the commish take responsibility for failure of the officials to call obvious intentional fouls? Getting disgusted with dirty play, not hard fouls. Hard fouls are part of the game. Clark wasn't the only one on fever with the dirty shot by a Chicago player. And someone else says, Carter, is this why other teams have called her Coward Carter? Never understood that before, but she must be doing pushes like that to other teams too. Anyone can blindside players when they do not have the ball. Chicago coach was not happy with Carter, but Reese loved it. Next, no one has heard of this Kennedy Carter until she did this. Here's someone, as a Black person, let me stand up unequivocally and say this is wrong and clearly motivated by racism and jealousy. We have to call out racism no matter what direction it comes from. Happy Clark won the game. And here's this. These women know she's the meal ticket, right? Maybe they didn't get the memo. So again, you're trying to draw in fans. You're trying to show people that you have something that is of quality, and instead, this is allowed to go on. These players are petty, they're jealous, they got issues, they need counseling. Actually, they need Jesus, who is the ultimate counselor. They need help, and the league needs to rein this thing in. So, here's another look at some of these comments. It says, look at Angel Reese. She's the only one on the bench hyping up Clark getting hit. LOL, hater. And then here's this one. Let's look at this. Animals, nothing more. The insecurity and jealousy run so deep, rent free. That's so, and the 23 likes here at that time, it's probably more. That is so very, very sad. This is what they think. This is what you're showing yourself to be when you're trying to draw attention and positivity to your league. And it's being allowed to happen. Here's another one. They hate it, for real, for real. Without Caitlin, that's an empty stadium, and they fly in Spirit. So, yeah. CeCe should leave the WNBA to Euro so that the WNBA can go back to what it was. See, I'm not the only one feeling that way. And like I said, I hate feeling that way. And I'm, you know, I don't really want her to do that, but I feel like, man. And then someone said cowardly, straight and simple. Playoff caliber basketball with physicality actually takes talent and ability. Anybody can just run up to somebody and shove them when they're not expecting it. Amen to that. Here's just a few more. Look at the way Reese gets up and claps after. The hate is real. The funny part is that Reese is a nobody without Clark. Then that was uncalled for. Someone says, and they lost by 1 point. Very fitting. Love it. And then someone addressing ESPN saying it was a flagrant one says, it wasn't a flagrant one. Y'all have zero quality control. LOL. And someone says, why am I watching this? See, this is my point. People are tired of this. And then someone said, watching chicks almost fight is comedy. You're supposed to be a serious league and people are laughing at you guys or you gals. And then there's here, all caps, the hate real. Someone said, them some, finish the sentence. And then Reese clapping and cheering a very dirty hit that could have caused serious injury. But no, her tweet was not directed at Caitlin. She doesn't hate Caitlin. According to her mom, Angel is, and well, Angel. The hate is real, all caps again. And then this, she should be suspended. You can't allow Caitlin, as Caitlin said, a non-basketball act to deliberately blindside and possibly hurt someone. It isn't being tough or passionate or any other spin. It's wrong. So stop it. This is what the people are saying. I tell you what, again, I know there are going to be people who are going to come on. They're going to say, oh, yeah, she's just weak. That's not it at all. I believe in true basketball. It used to be a saying, no blood, no foul, right? But think back to when Angel Reese was, what do they call it, clothesline or whatever with AT. And then thankfully she got tossed. But she hit her head back like that. This is, you know what? There are rules for a reason. I'm all about being physical within the rules of the game. But the stuff that's going on, the pettiness and the jealousy, it's bleeding over. It's totally controlling these people, you know, and we gotta rein that in. Whether I like a player or not, I don't like dirty play. Okay, just don't. And again, it robs from the enjoyment of the game and why people want to tune in. But I said they can be dirty, but the Indiana Fever got the W. They got the win. As they're facing tomorrow, another back-to-back, and they got New York. So they'll take this win right here, and then they'll go out and they'll compete. Their defense was so much better today, so much better. So that was good. You know, Caitlin didn't have the best shooting day. I know she would have liked, she hit her first 2 threes and, you know, she would have liked to have done better, but she was instrumental, very, very instrumental in the game. And as the commentator said, she was, or maybe it was Rebecca Lobo, she was out there facilitating. And her presence means so much on that floor. And then Aaliyah Boston, she came up huge, of course. Mitchell, she did a good job. And Smith, and you know, those who played, they played their part. And a lot of people talk about Wheeler and be like, what good is Wheeler? But Wheeler, last play of the game before I let you go. Hang with me to the end. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button, please. Leave a comment. Now, Erica Wheeler came up big at the end. So there's 6.6 seconds on the clock. Indiana's up 71-70. So 71-70, 6.6. And now we had a substitution. Smith went out and in came Samuelson. And I understand that was probably for free throw percentage advantage there. So they're all D'ing up. They need to go to the hoop. They've got the last shot and it's 6.6, but Wheeler goes to the backcourt. So check it out.
Into the backcourt for Wheeler. Someone's got to get to her. They can't. Wheeler trying to waste the clock.
Is it to Caitlin? Throws it up.
That's his first win of the season.
So at some point, it doesn't show it here, but at some point, while they are getting with their, getting with the person they're supposed to be defending, they lose sight of Wheeler. I'm sure that's not the play. I'm sure that's not the play that Coach Sides drew up. But you recognize what's going on around you. So she slips through. She gets in the backcourt. And she's trying to catch up. They're trying to foul her.
Wheeler trying to race the clock.
And that's it. And they get the win. So here's the deal, okay? From a coaching perspective, you would never, ever coach people to throw the basketball in the backcourt because a steal, a layup, you lose by one, right? So no, you wouldn't usually, no, you do not throw the ball to that end of the court. But here's the thing, something I've said to my players, you play basketball, you don't play the play. So the coach had a play. I'm sure it wasn't that, but there's a play, but something else Wheeler was able to recognize. And she got to the backcourt. In that case, all bets are off. I'm not going to play the play. I'm going to play the game. And so something else presents itself and you take it. And so that was smart. And so they end up with the W. So with all the dirty play, all the talk, all the trash talking, whether, Carter called her BITCH or whatever trash talking that Angel Reese was doing and all the stuff, nothing soothes more than to get the win. So we'll take the win. I wish we could just be talking about the game and aspects of the game as it's supposed to be played rather than all the other nonsense. And I'm prepared for all the comments and all the people who are going to say whatever they're going to say. But I said what I said, and I meant it. The referees need to step it up, and these ladies need to grow up. And don't be surprised that nobody is interested in watching you play or marketing you or whatever when you act like that, first of all. And then second of all, you get up there and you're so unprofessional. It's just ridiculous. And they're going to lose people. It's not smart. And it's just petty. Like, really? Oh, unbelievable. Well, like I said, they have New York on Sunday. Just wanted to give you my take on that. Let me know yours. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment. God bless you abundantly.